Welcome to Belgrade Fortress. Belgrade Fortress is placed on the confluence on the river Sava and Danube, in between old city Belgrade and new Belgrade now. The Zindan Gate was made in the 15th century as a part of the fortification defense of the Danube side of the fortress. It is built near the donjon Kula from Despot Stefan from 15th century. The church is made in 15th century and for the prayer of the soldiers, and it is dedicated to St. George, Serbian St. George. Nebojša Tower is only a survived tower from the 15th century, made as a defense on the bank on the river Sava, near to confluence river Sava and the Danube. We can see now the Sahat Tower, which is originally made by Ottomans, but finished by Austrians. We can see the Baroque roof and the stone tower. The Victory Monument originally is made for the celebration of the 10 years of the end on the First World War by Croatian sculptor Ivan Meštrović. The first original place for the monument was in Terazije Square in the city center. And ladies didn't want to see a naked guy in the city center. After that, the monument was kept in the atelier. 10 years later, he's placed on the last point of the fortress, so far away of the city center that nobody can see him.
Welcome to Viminacium, an old antique town which was built in the 1st century after Christ. This is the royal mausoleum, the place where Emperor Hostilianus, the second emperor born in Serbia, he was cremated inside of the central part. The graves on the side from the mausoleum, they are from the 3rd, from the 5th century, and they are from the different tribes which lived here in Viminacium. This is the place where the reconstruction of the amphitheater was made. It was built on the original base. It was a place where the gladiator and wild animal fights were held, and it had a capacity of 7,000 to 9,000 seats. The mammoth is approximately between 800,000 and 1 million years old. Her dimensions were 4.5 to 5 meters tall, 5.5 to 6 meters long, 10 tons heavy, and she ate something around 150 to 200 kilograms of herbs, plants a day just to survive. This is a Roman villa. It's imagined to look like a home of a Roman officer from the antique age. It has 5 big atriums, which are hotel rooms. Also, together with that, we have our laboratory, we have the library, the restaurant, and a museum. In the museum, we have 3 levels. On the first level, you can see the statue of Constantine the Great. In the second, you can see the model of the city. And in the third, you can see the monogram of Christ and all of the 18 rulers of the Roman Empire, which were born in Serbia.
The name of this fortress is Golubac Fortress, the fortress which they built on here on the right side of the Danube River. The fortress probably was built by the end of the 13th or beginning of the 14th century. This fortress was important because the side which possessed the fortress, they could control the traffic on Earth and also the traffic here on the Danube River. And there is a story that fortress was connected with the big chain with that rock over there. So the boats, if they wanted to pass inside or outside from the gorge, they must pay some toll. And now, after reconstruction, which happened between 2014 and 2019 year, we have one permanent exhibition in our palace. Name of that exhibition is Divine Inspiration. That is a story about the oldest Serbian manuscript Miroslav Gospel.
General Lepenski Vir is important for whole Europe because it is located in Iron Gate area where one of the first people emerged and started to live on the open space in Europe. Lepenski Vir itself is a location where first people came around 9500 BC. Just after Ice Age, people went out from the caves and they started to research how to live in the open space. So this changing was actually happening here in Iron Gate area, and Lepenski Vir is something like peak and highest level of development of this group of people in this area. But very important period was around 6300 BC. It is the period when they formed the settlement, one of the first organized settlements in Europe, and they started to live organized way of life. But they were still a Mesolithic culture, which means they were still hunters, fishermen, and food gatherers. And they formed the settlement by constructing several houses, very specific. They had a very specific architecture here. So we made this replica in order to show them how their inner space looked like more than 8,000 years ago.